All right, in this section, I'm going to show you how to swing trade bounce plays. Bounce plays are one of my most favorite trading strategies for swing trading as well as scalping. They say that the markets take the stairs up and the elevator down. As you can see, it took multiple weeks or months actually to get to this point and just a few days to lose a majority of it. I like these plays predominantly because it fits my strategy of buying low and selling high. And there's often a lot of market exaggeration and panic, right? So the markets will get oversold. And that's generally an indication to be able to buy low and then sell on the bounce. And the bounce usually happens fairly quickly as well. And you could also catch multiple bounce plays, but I'll show you my last major bounce play trade at the time of making this video. So if we use the fib extension right here, minus the retracement, we can see that this lined up with the 100% extension level, which shows some confluence with the rule of prior resistance turning into support. So I had long the dip here at around 770 area. And as far as targets are concerned for the bounce play, I always use Fibonacci retracements for my targets. So I set 900 as my first target, 950, and then 1,000 as my last target. Now, I didn't nail the exact top. I got pretty close to the bottom, but I didn't nail the exact top. You don't have to nail exact bottoms and tops. You can get the most of it, the meat of the trade. So you could scale in partial size here, perhaps running tight stops. You have to really manage risk and cut out of the market if it rolls against you. I like to be really aggressive with my bounce plays. Some people like to wait for confirmation. I tend to be aggressive and play on the bleeding edge. But as you can see here, we had a breakout right here. This would be another area where you could size into your trade. So you can have partial position here and then just add to it right here. And then also just scale out at multiple levels as well. So it doesn't have to be an all or nothing approach. Right. Another example of good bounce plays was, I bought the dip over here as well. Same type of scenario. Prior resistance turns support. And just use the fib extensions. Starting from the top down to the bottom minus the retrace. And you could see that this one also lines up perfectly with the 100% extension level. I also bought the dip on this double bottom right here along the dip for that bounce play. So there's different other areas that you could scale in as well on trades. For example, we have a trend line right here. Right, this would be a good area to long right on this trend line. And we have that same kind of rule. Prior resistance turns support. Another good potential dip buy. So there's multiple types of dip buy scenarios that you could have. Even on a bear trend, you could swing trade the bounce plays, right? I mean, this market is fairly exaggerated, lots of volatility. And another thing you can look at are the candles, the wicks of the candles, right? You could have a bunch of different candlestick patterns, but one thing I look for as a general basis is the wicks, the size of the wicks. As you can see here, anytime you have a long wick to the downside and it gets snapped up or bought up quickly, it means that buyers are in control of this market, right? So you have huge exaggerated move to the downside and then a wick. You might not catch this because it'll be really quick, but you could catch the meat of the trade. You see that wick on confirmation the next day, you long at this area, same with here, right? And catch the meat of the trade. So we see some wicks here, and the same goes for the downside as well. Obviously, you can see some wicks over here. And here's an example of an Adam and Eve double bottom. What an Adam and Eve double bottom is, it's where you have a sharp wick a bounce followed by a curved rounded bottom. We have another example right here. Sharp bounce with the rounded bottom, right? So on this rounded, you could buy on the sharp wick for the bounce play. And you could also long another dip right here, perhaps for second trade when you see this rounded bottom. It starts to move up. You know, obviously the range is getting tighter and tighter there. So that's some examples of swing trading bounce plays. I always like to use Fibonacci retracements and extensions to be able to find the best areas to long the dip. All right, we'll see you in the next section.